Good evening and welcome to another scene in the living world of darkness, the Camarilla and Anarch venue. Tonight we are opening scene at a smaller coffee bar, coffee place. It's not a big chain thing, but it's been somewhat. They do close at some time, but if you didn't know better, you would say that it's open for some special occasion, maybe. There aren't anyone inside. Well, not anyone except one.
Yes, when Theo opens the door and notices that also the blinds seem to be closed and the sign's still closed, but the door seems to be open, you'll see William at a simple table, um, wooden and relatively rustic, but nicely done chairs, and he will simply be sitting there looking at Theodore and say, "I'm glad that you were able to be here today. Please sit."
Thank you. Very kind of you.
So,
He comes and he sits down. So, I am a very, very busy person these days, but I do make time for those who would be in my city.
Um, William kind of keys on that word. Is like, "You're sitting now," and he has a slight smirk on his face, and he looks behind you where there is a man still behind the counter, a barista, and he goes, "I'll have a dark magic with white chocolate, please. You like anything, Theodore?"
No, thank you. I'm good. Thank you.
And he nods and kind of just lays at the barista, and he gets started on the coffee.
Don't
I
get me wrong. I know the predicament that is currently coming on, but I do intend to be a facet of you know, stability, and I believe that between the two of us that are in consideration. I believe the only one who can lead this city forward.
which I definitely think you have the potential, but to be honest, with many people that I've talked to, they feel more inclined with the wife of the late Princeton. Well, I don't personally say that I respect the woman on a, let's say, a social sense. I do respect her in a business sense. While I'm kind to you, I respect you more in a social sense, but I do have to say, Theodore, what do you think you can bring to New York that Marie Antoinette has not?
He looks at you. His brow furrows a little, and he just says, "You do realize that you would be kicked out of the city at best if she takes over, yes?
I
Anything that is remotely," and he looks at the barista and says rather lowly, "cative," would be at best thrown headfirst out of the city. I do not find this acceptable, especially not when people have sometimes given their lives in a defense of this city that do not seem fair. We must respect the traditions within our organization, of course, but just kicking people out because the rules say so, even though they have proven their merit more than once, I will not stand for that.
which
That is one thing I can offer you specifically. Abide by the rules. You can stay. You can do business. You will have my blessing. You have helped defend this city. She does not care about who has defended what. Her rule is supreme, and once her mind is set, no one can change it. That, in itself, is a very, very dangerous attitude to have as a ruler.
That I can
Leniency in that respect is another thing I can offer.
that I can respect and agree with many of your statements, Theodore. I really do. But I also have made some precautions to make her at least see me in a different light. I have been joined. I have joined the Shattered Mirrors of late. Invitation by Reginald that I have accepted,
Hmm.
which will give me protection on
I
a.
know you were not at the defense when we were attacked, but you do know that Reginald Carpenter has met final death, yes?
I have unfortunately heard the news, which is
Great
rather.
supporter of Maria, I might add.
He was, so is Lady Whitaker, which.
Who is, and you can tell that like he smiles, but not just a little bit. He's trying to keep it back. Was as well a very fervent supporter of her.
She tells me that Marie Antoinette is a more benevolent person than she lets on. Now she tries to convince me into her service. She says that she will not kill all
Of
the
course,
Kados.
she does. Well, she did. Do you realize that she was one of you not so long ago? The only way she could make her good graces again would be to placate Maria in every way possible. You do realize that. She
Of
was
course,
in a situation which you could only do that or face, well, final death, I think.
of course, I'm aware that she will change her tone due to her situation, but as I've told her before,
She, well, should it's a matter of grammar. You should probably put that in a past tense as well.
uh, she has been returned to the veil of her clan from and title of her position, and she seems to be up in arms and giving me at least, let's just say again, information saying that also that her child wasn't going around killing caitiffs or trying to assassinate. And he says that in a tone low enough that the person doesn't hear. He's Orphan, and she defends her greatly. And unfortunately, in her defense, she does not convince me that that information is not true. And I
I
spoken.
must have misheard you. What did you say that Selena was going around doing what?
No, not Selena, the child of Marie Antoinette. You've heard the rumors about her predication with Orphan, correct?
Rumors. Yes, I've heard.
She did publicly announce that they were fabricated and that she
Of
vouches.
course you did. Problem
Yes,
is, they weren't. That's the problem.
I would like proof of that, as much as I also wanted proof from her as well. She couldn't give me anything to seal my trust with her in that situation. It is, and William actually kind of a sullen look in the face. It is unfortunate that I must doubt a person that I have good standing with and is also a leader of my coterie.
But she's no longer the leader of your company.
No, the dynamic has changed, and I am to a point, I guess, back to my old life, which is obviously untrue, as we both know.
Very well. I can offer you things that Maria cannot.
But she has supporters. She did have the late
Yes,
Reginald,
she does.
and she has Selena as well within New York, and I'm very sure many others are more
Just out of
inclined.
character, Selena has also met Final Death.
Okay, I did not know that.
And that's what, like he's been saying, like he has been saying that she's no longer here.
Sorry, I
Uh,
misunderstood
so,
that.
so well, just letting you know, though, that was what he hinted at when he said that both were supporters of Maria and both are now dead. So,
Then, oops, I will take back my statement and definitely again, still Sullen look. She, I'm very sure the ones in the bunker still support Management purely out of convenience. What support do you have within the bunker right now to help, or at least what was the bunker to help continue your exports?
I have the support of 3 clans. I have the support of a Malkavian elder. I've been fighting this war on the ground, been present, been leading the troops, been very, very generous with my time, with everyone who I had to stand behind, in front of, or by the side of. And what has she been doing? Sending one round of supplies, throwing very, very nasty words from the other side of the world. Yes, yes, she has truly shown all of the people in this fine city how much she cares about them.
She also has the power of Clan Toreador behind her, her years of experience, her very distinct and effective intimidation. And he smiles a little bit at that. It seems to be working wonders for her, unfortunately. And unfortunately for
Well,
you Theodore,
as long as people let her intimidate them, what can what can she truly do? Unless, of course, people are very invested in the old world. Well, then I would not really know what they would do setting down permanent residence in the New World. But if they are mainly invested in the New World, what she can do in Europe is less of import, surely. And if she does not assume the princedom, what can she do then? Be mad?
and again,
Growl at you?
William smiles at Theodore's words. Yeah, like I knew when you first found me that you seemed to be a good choice, but Theodore, I would gladly support you when the time comes. I honestly would, but I don't know how you would do it. Unfortunately, due to your condition.
You will stand with me because, frankly, I do not really see that you have an alternative. I've spent the majority of my unlife being haunted by this woman because of what I was, a nuisance. I made a slight offense in some of my earliest nights, and she has wanted me dead ever since. Do you honestly believe, with her fanaticism against your kind, that she will give you any leniency? She will, in any way, do anything to help you, other than to not give you final death when she takes over the princedom?
As I said,
I know, and I've known her for over 300 years now.
as I
She's
said,
ruthless.
I still have the Veil of Malkavian upon me, and I know, and I watched Reginald before his passing. At this point, I simply need to meet with some elders to inaugurate me, as you would say. And I don't think Marie Antoinette. And I know Marie Antoinette would either purge what is left of the caitiffs or simply remove them. Even Isaac knows that, and he told me so. Though I do feel in some cases she may keep them around, at least what's left of them. And it's
She
typical of
sent
our
her
kind,
own child to assassinate.
because the Orphan gave the caitiff hope that they could be something. Without the hope, they will be disorganized, more willing to fold over pressure. I have done my best to train the caitiffs, and as we had them from the siege, they have done what they could, what the best they could, with the lack of resources that Marie Antoinette did not give them. They were dying until me and Elizabeth and Kate came to them to get what little time we had to properly make them into kindred society. Several of them died of hunger frenzy, merely from lack of hunting skills and not being able to survive off of rats and vermin. Many of them barely know how to use their disciplines and randomly would cause chaos within their ranks, and some were so foolish enough to think that they could take the sun because Marie Antoinette did not properly change her disposable soldiers. What good are disposable soldiers if they can't even soldier? Until I and a few others that were willing to knowing that our survival is most is our greatest focus, Marie Antoinette would have sent merely basically puppies against the bot, hoping that they would gnaw at their knees and slow them
And
down.
again, I do not believe. I understand when you say that you want to support me, but really can't. All you've said paints a picture of a person who could not give less of a shit about anyone like you. She would, she does not care one bit, and I supported everyone in the city. Those who have fought for this city should be able to stay here. I do not see where there is a choice.
There's always a choice. And Theodore, don't think that I am trying to say that Marie Antoinette is a better choice for me. I'm simply saying, in my position, or at least in others may even agree with, it's a safer choice. But safety doesn't mean the right one.
How is it more safe?
You've seen her effects, that she'd be able to move around. We saw what her word did to our good friend Spillane. She can move things. And I do think you can as well. But I feel that you're more subtle about it, and some people prefer a more obvious answer.
Well, how much do you really know of us? You know what my clan is. That should explain quite a lot about how much you actually see of my influence. And her clan should likewise quite clearly show that she likes to show where it comes from and how it comes from her. It's in their blood. My clan is the direct opposite. You can make educated guesses, but you can never really know for certain.
So, as I can respect that. Again, William slightly smiles. And I do respect that. Do the others respect that?
Think of it. Think of it this way. Do you think that some of the. You're an intelligent man. Do you think that some of the bumps in her plans, well, do those bumps appear just out of nowhere? Or is this just a cruel fate of gods who seem to want to toy with even us? One must always question. One must always think of one's situation and the acts and the events that have gone before. One can learn much. But I appreciate this meeting, Mr. William. I do appreciate it.
Yes, do I, Theodore.
Good. Now, if you would have an excuse, I must be going. I have so many things to see to. Please, have a very good evening.
Of course.
And Theodore will just get up. He will do his like. It's a little too. There's a little bit too much sway in his step when he bows to you. It seems a little bit too formal for to be just a normal bow. But he just does that and just to you as he leaves, and he just says, "Oh, and please, if there's any other concerns, send them through the appropriate channels, and I shall get back to you." And he will leave.
William, seeing Theodore's leave, will sigh a little bit and look over to the barista as he's giving him his cup. Thank you. And he'll pull out some cash out of his pocket. He goes, don't talk about this to anybody, please. And barista nods as he takes the money. He begins drinking a bit of the coffee. Yes, it will be an interesting change of events.
And as William contemplates this and many other things, the scene will come to a close. Thank you very much, player, for playing. Watchers for watching. Good night.